Well, hi everybody. So today I'll be going over Carenado's V35 Bonanza. We'll hop in the interior here real quick, have a look around it, and get it started. Take it off, kind of fly it around, land it real quick, and then I'll do a short review on it. That'll pretty much be it for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty. Well, here we are in the Bonanza, and you know, it's Carenado, so it does to be perfectly honest here look absolutely fantastic. Kind of all around this plane looks absolutely fantastic. But the model texture quality in here is really good. There's not too much in here. You can open doors. You can open a little window here, turn on the cabin lighting, things like that. Sun visors work. We can open, do that. Anyway, I will say that one of the things that looks really nice in here is actually the instrument panel and the sort of wood grain that they used, wood grain texture they used here. The only thing that would be kind of cool is if we could flip the yoke over, but unless I haven't figured out how to do that yet, that's not an option, which would have been kind of cool, but oh well, doesn't really matter. So that's pretty much it for in here. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started and take it off. Alrighty. Well, we'll go ahead and get this thing started. So I want to make sure the propeller pitch is up at max and the mixture's up at rich. Go ahead and flip on the battery switch, the alternator, and I'm not going to worry about any of the lights right now. Go ahead and turn on the fuel pump, and then come over here to, I guess we'll want to crack the throttle just a little bit. And then we'll come over here to the key, and we'll just turn this over to start. And it starts up. Go ahead and turn the fuel pump off because it kind of makes an annoying noise. And then come up here and turn on the avionics master. We can turn everything else on, but either way, it's pretty much good to go. By default, you should be on the left tank for your tank selector and everything like that. So, not too much to it, but does sound pretty good. So, go ahead and taxi out here to the runway and take it off. Alrighty, well, down here at the end of the runway, and we're going to take it off here. It's not too much to worry about in terms of taxiing it. I will say that it does kind of take it a little while to sort of initially roll, but other than that, not too much to worry about with it. It does not turn very sharply. It's kind of slow on turning around, but either way. So we're just going to go ahead and throttle up here. Now it does take a little bit to kind of get going here. Once it gets to about 40 knots, though, it seems to kind of start picking up speed pretty well. So, got some bears on the runway here, so it should be interesting. I'll probably want to begin pulling back on the yokes, the yoke around about probably about 60, 65. Probably should lift off somewhere around like 70, 75 knots. I have my flaps down. You don't really need to have your flaps down for takeoff. I forgot to put them up after kind of testing out what the stall speed on this thing is. So, either way, as far as how this thing flies, I might compare this a little bit to the G36. I think that's what it is, the sort of default Bonanza in here. I'm going to say I like this one more. Part of that is just I like how it looks. I think that a Bonanza without a V-tail looks a little strange to me, but you know, to some extent I prefer gauges to the sort of modern avionics suite. But anyway, as far as how it flies, it actually is a very nice one to actually fly. It's really nice and stable. It's fairly well balanced. It doesn't like sink and, or you know, the nose doesn't sink or climb or anything really. It pretty much holds its angle of attack pretty well without you really having to do anything. It turns pretty well. It climbs pretty well. Now, as far as speed, I will say I think the default Bonanza is a little bit faster than this one. Probably going to be looking at something like, maybe depending upon your altitude or anything like that, somewhere around like at least at this altitude that I'm at right now, it's probably going to be about 160 knots. It's probably going to be around your top speed, under its own power at least, level flight. Now, it does feel a little bit heavy. It's not a complaint or anything like that, but it does actually feel like the plane has some weight to it. It's fairly responsive, though, on how it responds to you. Anyway. Now, its stall speed, though, is somewhere around about, with the flaps up, somewhere around about 55 knots or so. It kind of has this sort of standard Microsoft Flight Simulator stall to it. I mean, you can get it into a spin if you really want to, but you know, it's not bad. I will say that I did manage to actually get myself into a spin that I could not get out of, and that was because I went and got something to drink while I was flying this thing last night and left it on autopilot. Apparently, I ran out of fuel in my fuel tank, and when I came back here, it was spiraling down to the ground and didn't manage to cover it in time. But that might have been an altitude thing. So as far as damage, all of that goes, it's no damage. It's sort of the standard Microsoft Flight Simulator damage. You're not going to have to worry about blowing the engine up or anything like that. It's not overly complicated in here. It's got some nice things to click on, but it's not, you know, incredibly complicated or anything like that. Now, I guess if somebody wants to leave me a comment, the only thing I'm a little unsure about this thing is my understanding of the V-tail Bonanza was that this thing was a little, let's say, I don't want to say squirrely, but a little unstable in the air because of its V-tails, and that's actually why they got rid of them, kind of. But I could be wrong about that. Either way, if somebody does know the answer to that question, that would be kind of neat to know, because it is not unstable at all in the air. It's actually very, very nice to fly around. So go ahead and bring it in here for a landing and hope that I can actually slow down in time. The thing does bleed speed pretty well once you put the flaps all the way down, but before that it does not lose speed that much or that quickly. I'm probably going to have to go around here. Yeah. So I'll be back here when I get back here to land at the proper speed. Alrighty. Well, we're close enough here. So we'll go ahead and gear down and put the flaps down. I'm going to put the flaps down all the way for at least this landing. You don't probably really have to. I will say that they do drag the plane pretty well. So it's going to slow you down quite a bit. And I guess depending upon your angle at which you're coming in here, you might need a pretty good amount of throttle to keep it in the air with the flaps all the way down. But either way. So I'm doing about, what, 80 knots right now. Just reduce the throttle and flare it a little bit. We should set down here around about like 65 or so. Maybe 60. And then we'll just let the nose kind of settle down and get on the brakes. Now it does have pretty good brakes, so we'll stop it pretty quickly. But that's pretty much it for this part, so we'll go into the sort of like review thing I do, and that'll be it for today. Alrighty, so if you would like to pick up the Bonanza, it's about $15 Microsoft Flight Simulator Marketplace, and I'll be honest, I've been having a little bit of fun with it. As far as how it looks great. Model and texture quality are absolutely fantastic. The only problem that I did notice with it is on the exterior, and it's only with the two polished aluminum ones. The gear doors are flat gray, but that's all I noticed. As far as the liveries and everything like that, everything lines up, and overall it looks great. The sound quality is good. Might not be 100% to real life, but you know, I don't think you ever get that. You're pretty close though, and it's not bad. You know, all the sounds are really crisp and clear, so as far as the quality goes, it's fine. It sounds great. Now, as far as the model quality and let's say complexity of systems, again, it's a $15 plane, so don't expect much. It's pretty basic in terms of systems. So you'll be flipping between fuel tanks, but you won't really have to manage the engine or anything like that. Now, as far as the flight model goes, again, it's a $15 plane. It's pretty much your standard Microsoft Flight Simulator flight model. It does have its own unique feel to it, but overall, it's pretty standard Microsoft Flight Simulator. So my overall thoughts on the plane, is that I do like this more than I like the default Bonanza you get with the game. Part of that is that it looks like a Bonanza to me, and when I think of a Bonanza, I think V-tail. I don't really think the other one. Anyway, I do like flying it. It definitely does feel different than the default one. It's not the exact same flight model or anything like that. But if what you're looking for is something that's high fidelity, this is not it. At least as far as beyond looks, it looks really good, but the flight model might not be. Flight model and systems complexity might not be what you're looking for. I guess you can treat it as realistically as you want, but again, if you are looking for something to force you to fly it properly, this is not it. But it is a fun little general aviation for about 15 bucks. I will say I have been enjoying this Famous Flyer series. So that's pretty much it for today, and I guess I'll see you all next time, and thanks for watching, everybody.